I'm Claire from gift.I. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up in the UK. Thanks for joining me today. I like to keep my tutorials or craft alongs as I call them fairly short and easy so that you can go and case the ideas and turn it into your own unique work of art. If you like what you see, please subscribe. I try and do a video once a week. Or just get in touch. It's lovely to see your makes, really inspiring. If you'd like to shop with me, please go to my website, creativetheyotterway.co.uk. I may or may not be joined by cats on screen. I try and keep them out, but we've got two little kittens that are very eager to come on camera, shall we say. So you may hear the slight meowing now and again. So what shall we do today? Let's craft. So today's make is an explosion box that encases a Christmas wreath. I've used quite a few different Stampin' Up pieces in it. I've used the playful alphabets for the label. What paper did I use? Did I bring that through? Oh, there's always something, isn't there? The hand-painted paper is what I used just for the lid of the box, but it also inspired the inside wreath. Quite a few of my ladies like to make wreaths, so look, can you see? Isn't that lovely? It's a bit of a wow, and it's just the right size for a coffee table, or you could put it on the dining table, but it's perfect for a little coffee table, so out of the way. It's battery tea lights that are just put on with Velcro dots. That one's just come off. So you can turn them off, leave them on. And what we've done is stamped the background. Now you could make this super easy and just cover it with some DSP, but I quite like the effect and I really wanted another play with the Christmas season stamp set. So I'm going to show you how to make it from scratch. So let me move this one out the way and put the measurements there. So this Advent wreath is a tradition for many families worldwide actually, and a lovely lady called Darby on rejoiceandcreate.com has a wonderful explanation about the tradition of an Advent wreath, about how each week has a different meaning and what they are. So go take a look at hers and her original idea that I cased. Just distracting the cat, sorry. All you need is two pieces of card really, a piece of 8x8 for the base and a piece of 6 1/8 by 6 1/8 for the lid. I've also used, as I said, the Christmas season set to do the wreath stamping, and again a fellow demo, Ruth Trice from Artful Stamping. She's got wonderful tutorials and examples of how to stamp all over your card, and then if you're really brave, how to cut it up and turn it into the most amazing card fronts. So go have a look at her tutorials as well. What you're going to need is a piece of basic white card, and we're just going to turn that into our square 8 inches by 8 inches. So really, really simple. Nothing too taxing today, but still a bit of a wow. So 8 inches, big bit of card you can use for another project. By 8 inches. Tiny sliver you're probably realistically not going to use, but we still like to keep them, don't we? And then you're going to score on all 4 sides at 2 inches. Okay. Now again, I've chosen to do basic white just because the wreath will really, all my stamping will really show up on it. But you could do a piece of colour card and then layer it with designer series paper. You could just do coloured card and stamp on that. you could do coloured card and die cut. So the Christmas season set comes with a wonderful set of dies that you could stamp and really turn it into the most amazing piece of artwork. Right, stop talking, Claire, and think. So I've done 2 inches on every side. Now what we're going to end up doing is cutting these corner pieces off and they will fold in. So we just need to do a score line from this point to this point. So I'm actually going to use my paper trimmer to help me do that. So I'm using the guideline there and just lining it at both ends and then scoring it. But I'm only scoring on the corner pieces. So that piece there and then the bottom square. So if I show you now, it's scored on there and it's scored on there. Do it both at the same time. So I'm just going to do the other end as well. So I'm lining up the square diagonally point to point. And when I'm happy that that's done, I'm just going to score on both squares, either end. It means you don't have to keep moving your card around. So every corner now has got a diagonal line on it. Now, I am going to cut off my corners now. You don't need to do this bit now, but I found that once I'd stamped all over the paper, it wasn't so easy for me to see. So just go around and cut your corners off, and you don't need that bit. That's just a bit of waste. So that bit to there. That's 2. And do this bit to this. I've actually got 2 kittens on the table by me, and I'm really nervous that they're going to walk across right at the bit I don't want them to when I'm stamping. But if I just pretend they're not there, hopefully they'll ignore me too. Okay, so that's what you end up with, a piece like that. So how are we going to do the stamping? So obviously a wreath goes round. Now you could, sorry Amber, I really need that piece. You could draw yourself a circle round it. I think the shape that you've cut it is sort of lends itself to knowing where you want to have your stamp. What am I using? I'm using this magnetic cutting mat that I've got, just because once I start stamping I don't want my piece of card to move around. I usually use my Stamparatus for this, but this is slightly too big, being 8x8. The Stamparatus is 7x7. So colours, what colours would we do a wreath? So I've taken my inspiration from this hand-painted Christmas paper from Stampin'Up. Just looked at what colours are on there and at the other colours that are in the paper. Now it turns out there's loads, but I have brought them all through. So I've got Real Red, Evening Evergreen, Soft Succulent, and I'm just literally laying them out in front of me. I've also got Cinnamon Cider, Cherry Cobbler, I've got Sea Soft Foam and Garden Green, Crumb Cake, Pear Pizzazz and Early Espresso. So actually that's a lot of colours. You don't need that many colours, and I won't use that many colours, but I want to have the options there in front of me. So what I'm going to do is start with a big leaf, so probably this one, and I'm going to do it in the lightest colour. So what I'm going to do is choose, I think, Sea Soft Foam, and I'm going to give that as my base to my wreath. Now this bit could get a bit boring for you. I'll try and stamp really quick, and if you don't want to see all this stamping, just fast forward. So stamp on, stamp off, and I'm trying not to do all 4 corners because that won't give me a nice wreath it will just look a bit, I don't know what the word is, like you've tried too hard. Does that make sense? So I've gone for 5 just to stop my eye doing 4 every time. I'm just going to add a few more, but the other way. So I've turned the leaf round. Oh, that's in the way now. Like that. And I'm stamping off again after each leaf. So just turning my stamp set slightly. Just to get that image. Now that doesn't look so great. I don't know if you can see that on camera. That's because I didn't ink it up properly. I was too busy glancing at the cat. Okay, but that's all right, it's not ruined. We're just going to go with it. So it may not be showing on camera, but it is really coming together, the background. I'm just going to move that. There is gaps, and that's okay. It's quite a big gap there, so I'm very aware of that. Now I don't want to use the first colour of ink because I don't want to put a big leaf there. So I've just filled that with a little stamped off piece. Now I think that's it. I don't think I'm going to do any more on that. So I'm just going to clean that off, put that back in the set. And then what should we do next? I think we should do a pine cone, just because that's the next biggest. Now I'm not going to use the big pine cone, I'm going to use the little, and this has got 2 parts to it. So it's got one part that's fairly filled in and one part that is like the detail on it. So I'm going to do the filled in bit first. And I think I'm going to go cinnamon cider. So I'm going to put this one away because I've used it. So that one's done. I'll get some cinnamon cider. And I'm not sure how this is going to come out, but let's give it a go. And I'm using the filled in bit. Well, I'm just going to try it to the side of me. Oh, it's very dark. So what I'm going to do is get a bit of scrap paper. And I'm not going to do it straight away. Can you see how dark it is? So I've stamped off once. That gives it slightly lighter tone. Okay, so I'm going to do that every time. I'm going to stamp off once. And I'm going to sort of bunch them in 2s or 3s, just so that they're there. I think they probably get away with another one there. This is exactly what Ruth does on her tutorials. They're amazing. You start off thinking, oh, I'm not really sure about this, and then it all comes together. So believe in yourself. So just remember to stamp off. I'm actually only going to do 2 there. Have one here. The reason I score it first is because it gives my eye somewhere to realise that that's where it's going to be folded. And also another thing that I need to be aware of is my candles are going to be in the middle here. So don't do all the like detailed bit in the middle there because you won't see it when your candle covers it. Well, I'm going to end up with 4, and I didn't want to end up with 4, so we'll have to put another one in somewhere. Should we do one there? Remember to stamp off. I'll do it that way. Okay, so my stamping's not the best, but it's fine. I'm just going to go with it. I'm now going to do the detailed stamp. overthink what you're doing. Okay, what shall I put on the top of that? Now I think probably I don't want the same. Let's try a crumb cake. Let's see what happens with that. So I'm putting the cinnamon cider away because I've used that. Let's do the crumb cake. Right, I want to try and see how dark that comes out. Oh no, that's probably all right. So I'm going over the top of my cones. And suddenly they take on a new life. Okay. So what traditions do you have for Christmas? Or I'm usually really into Christmas. But now my boys have grown up, it's very different in our house at Christmas. Roll on grandchildren is what I say. Okay, so I'm going to leave that like that at the moment. So, and then what a wonderful excuse to craft lots of baby stuff. So crumb cake is done. Next, I think I need a bigger leaf. So I'm going to use this one to sort of branch out. Yeah, let's do that. And I want to go slightly darker. How dark? Soft succulent dark or pear pizzazz dark? I feel like pear pizzazz, so it's not too different. Let's see what this looks like. I think I need to speed up a bit as well. So I'm going to go where there's a gap. Oh yeah, that's better. And again, I'm still going to stamp a few times. Let's do one from that cone. Okay, so that's looking good. Now on the outside maybe needs to be a bit more greenery. That can go there. Now you'll either be looking at this and going, what a mess, or you'll be loving it. And I'm sort of in between at the minute. I'm not sure if I'm loving it. What do you think? Stand back a bit and have a look at it. Does that make you feel a bit better? Okay, it's certainly filling out. What's next? Let's do some holly. So holly is a real different shape. And I feel like the holly needs to be really quite dark. So I am going to do it garden green and hope it's not too dark. So holly. Wow, that is really in your face, isn't it? I'm going to put some of that there. Looks alright though. Now I'm sure you can do a much better job of this than me, especially as I'm trying to speed stamp. So don't forget to share your makes with me. Got to put one there as well. It really is looking quite Christmassy. Put some on the inside. Does feel like it's going more over that way. Let's put some more. Oh, let's do it there. Okay. What's next? So holly's done. Must have nearly used all the other bits. Oh, what about this? Like, that's a bit like some fir cone. Now do it really dark, or that. I think I'm going to do it that colour, which is soft succulent. Let's get rid of this. So I have used quite a few of the colours, and I am going to do some straight away over here to bring that out. Remember, there's no right or wrong, this is your design. I feel like there's quite a bit of white that I'm just going around and filling in. Okay, and then some more here, because I don't feel there's much here. I'm leaving the red till last. Okay, maybe some here. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. And then there's this little bit that's a twig that's going to have the berries on. So let's do that. How are we doing for time? We're nearly there. So this is in Early Espresso. Now, bearing in mind that my candle's going to be in the middle there, I want my berries to show. So I'm going to go there. Oh, it's quite hard to figure out where you want the berries when they're not, you're just stamping the stalk. Right, let's see how that is. So now if I get the berries, so there's two, there's little ones and big ones. So I'm going to use the big ones to start with, and I'm going to do those in real red, which is here. Okay, let's see if I can line these up. Think about it. That's it there. Okay. Like that. Already it gives a bit of depth to it, doesn't it? There's an, oh, got it on my finger. You will get inky. There's one over here. I've just seen there's one there. And there's one here. There you go. Okay. And then there's this tiny little red dotted one, which is this one. So I'm just going to plop that on the other side. Turn that off briefly. And I'm going to do this in cherry cobbler. Okay, let's see what we can do with this. So I think I'm just going to do some little bits of red. How are we doing? I think we're there. Okay, let's move those out of the way. Okay. Ta-da! So that's your base bit done. You've already scored it. Now to put your candles on, you are going to need some little circles, and you're going to need some Velcro or magnetic dot or something like that. So I have used 1 3/8, and I've just cut it out in sea soft foam just because I don't really want it to be on show. So I'm just going to put some glue on those and put those in the 4 bigger panels. Just stick them down so that your candle has somewhere to go. Right, can you see I'm already covering up some of the red? But that's fine because it will still look good. That one. Oh, and there's that one. Okay, so I think that's about even. So then what you do is you get your Velcro, you put a dot on there and a dot on there, and that will be that in place, and do that on the 4 spaces for your candle. Now the middle bit, what I wanted to do is I wanted to have a red background, but I wanted the label to be on white. So what I've done, let's turn that off a minute. I have stamped on the white, but I've used a stamp from Christmas to Remember, and I've used Love and Joy. Come to you and may it last the whole year through. And I am going to stamp it in Evening Evergreen because I really want it to stand out. So I've already die cut it out of one of the shapes from the, hang on a minute, from the seasonal layers. Okay, I didn't look which way round it was. So this is my hope and a prayer that is right. Hang on, Rose. Okay, so that's my label. Now, like I said, I wanted the red background, but it's exactly the same size. So what I do is cut across, put a bit of glue on this side, and just slightly off-centre it, like so. It gives it almost a 3D angle to it, and do the same on this side. You don't even notice that it's not all the way round. Okay, and then put some dimensionals on the back of there, and that goes in the middle. And then get your bone folder and just burnish all the lines all the way round, all 4 sides. Okay. And when it comes to the corners, what you want is you want it to fold in like that. Okay, so fold it in like that and just burnish those down on all 4 sides, and then you end up with this. Just get rid of those. Don't want to get it on the white card, do I? I'll be not happy about that. Okay, so that's got the Velcro dot on. There's a Velcro dot on there. That goes in there. They come up like that. So the last bit you need is your lid. So your lid, 6 1/8 by 6 1/8. Okay, I've already cut mine 6 1/8. It's actually the very last line on your paper trimmer, 6 1/8. Then you need to score it on 4 sides at 1 inch. So this is really simple lid. If you've done papercraft before and you've made boxes, you will be able to do this in your sleep. But if you're new to it, just score at 1 inch on all 4 sides. Then take your scissors, and where there's a square, you need to cut up to the first line, and that will give you a little tab. Okay, so we're just going to shape that tab just by cutting a little sliver off. So that's what I've cut off just out of there on the square, and I do it on the other side. Okay, and you do it on all four sides all the way around. Just cut off. I'm just coming rows. Oh, just keep going. Now when I do a lid, I do it as you go round, if that makes sense. I don't do two on one side and two on the other, just because it gives me a squarer lid, I've found. I can hear you going, what is she on about now? I'll show you, hang on, let me just get that bit off. So it's almost like the tabs are going round like that, okay? Now put some glue, burnish it, put some glue on your tab, and then bring your corner round to there, and you will end up with a lid. Square like this, and then I have just layered it 1/4 of an inch smaller in white, and then again with the designer series paper, and that's your lid. Okay, ta-da. Now because all the wow is on the inside, I didn't really want to put a label or anything on the lid, so what I did instead, if I bring that over, help that to fit, I wrapped it up like you normally would a parcel. So, isn't this ribbon lovely? Really lovely, really shiny, really sensory. So wrap it round. Obviously it's Stampin' Up ribbon, like you would a normal parcel. No fancy stuff here, just simple, basic, but effective. Tie it in a knot. Okay. Then add your tag to that. Where's my tag gone? So I've done this one. I've cut these out, or die cut these from Stampin' Up supplies as well. Added my word of peace. I'm just going to thread that through there, tie a bow in the top, and we are done. Ta-da! So how about that for a lovely Advent pop-up explosion box? I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope I haven't waffled too much. I would love to show you the kitty cat. Let me see if I can, because she's just uber cute. Where is she? She's coming up. Look at that. She's so sleepy. Thank you for joining me. And I hope to speak to you soon. Take care.